What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rear Naked Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Jimmy Filston.
And I'm Drew Weatherhead. And you'll notice if you're watching the YouTube that I look like I am now recording out of maybe like a cellar or a sea line container of some sort.
You look like either you just got divorced and are living in storage. You look like the dude from Office Space contained in his office before he has a mental breakdown.
Like
and
the
burns
red stapler, yeah.
The stapler guy. You look like someone who has like a 9-to-5 and is like sneaking a jiu-jitsu podcast is like his naughty side hustle. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, oh, fucking Carol and HR went home. I can record my little my podcast that gives me life. You look like someone who stays late in the office, not because you're having an affair or anything like scandalous, but just because you just don't want to see your family. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't want to answer if I know what you mean to that, actually.
Oh, fair. What was the Apatow movie where Paul Rudd, she thought that he was having an affair, but he was just like sneaking off to like play D&D or something with his friends.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
And then there was that really wonderful like realistic fight they have afterwards where he confessed to like going to see Spider-Man by himself.
This is like, about me.
It was so real. Anyway, so that is what your office looks like.
Yes. What actually happened is I opened up for business for the first time in 3 months. We had our first week of jiu-jitsu here at the club where we do record the podcast.
Wait a second. Yes. What the fuck? Is calling it a club a Canada thing?
Is a club not a thing?
No.
I've heard a club.
Once again, a club is
academy.
a club is where old divorcees go to play racquetball and like complain that like the help is being a little too uppity.
You know where the first time I heard club was in regards to martial arts is when I was when I first started martial arts. It was karate when I was 18 years old. Okay. And I got like every
wait. I'm sorry, I've cut you off a million times. I only think of karate as little kids, so I'm now picturing you as a 18-year-old in a kids class with like the karate outfit,
the white belt. Yeah. No, thankfully it was all like teenagers and adults, but
okay, great. All right, keep going. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So like everybody who gets too into their first martial arts, I got a tattoo of the style on my arm. Yeah.
You have a karate tattoo?
I only made it to orange belt, but
oh, that's so funny. Is orange belt the karate's equivalent of blue belt?
It's like the karate equivalent of adult green belt.
Oh my God.
It's not good.
Dude, that's so funny. I'm still picturing you harassing kids. Like, you didn't break that board, you little fucking twerp.
And then, so anyways, I've years and years later in the old folks' home that my grandma was being put up in, a kindly orderly there, old herself from Japan, who is first generation Japanese, sees my tattoo on my arm, says, "Oh, you're with the club." I'm like, the club's like, "Oh yeah, the karate club." I'm like, "Oh yeah, actually that is what that means. I guess I'm part of the club."
I love that.
I'm like, I was low-key wondering, like, do you mean Yakuza? Like, what club are we talking about here?
I love the idea that she's just out like twerking it at like dance clubs. Dude, that's a really cool story. I actually remember I was hiking with my ex in Arizona. Have you ever had someone try to relate to jiu-jitsu and then it's not jiu-jitsu and then you are embarrassed for them? Where it's kind of like, I was talking to Keenan about this because we were thinking of like video ideas and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think it was Keenan who made this because we made a video last week and not up yet. If you guys are like, where is it? And yeah, I think it was me and Keenan who were talking about like when brand new people, adult white belt males usually go to sign up, how because it's such a not disempowering thing, but it makes you feel like very like I am a weak child about to get beat up, you know?
There's no doubt where you are in the totem pole.
Yeah. They always have to like drop some weird like, well, I did do Hapkido when I was 8. And you're like,
exactly.
What? Like the amount of times when I briefly worked at a jiu-jitsu gym that I heard weird adult men like name check Shotokan karate from like, their junior high experience.
Yeah.
so funny.
Two things you can be guaranteed of for the first time guy that just can't let go of his ego during sparring is before sparring, he's going to tell you about his street fights or his previous martial arts experience.
Sure.
And then after the first, maybe second, perhaps even third roll, he's always going to ask how much the other person weighs.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Because in Aikido, we
yeah, you felt big.
you felt big and better and more skilled. And I feel sad and heartbroken and disillusioned. Have I told you I did Hapkido? Yeah.
155 pounds. That explains why you're on my back the whole round.
I will only say that to someone, and I've said it, because your boy can be passive aggressive. I'll only say it. I will only say the cliche passive aggressive shit after I submit the fuck out of it. So like if I'm going with a 200-pound
So
dude,
you start with real aggressive, then you get passive aggressive.
exactly. It's like a slow downgrade. And then it gets to like, we cool, bro. It will go like I'm going with like a 200-pound guy and I feel him like using all of his strength and whatever. And then mentally I go, and I plan my line where I'm like, I know what I'm going to say. And then I will choke the fuck out of him. And then only then do you go, hey, how much do you weigh? Like, but as they're still like choking from, and then it's just like such a fuck you. I want to talk about the Dustin Poirier Hooker fight, Dan Hooker. I almost said
that sounds
Hooker.
way more TMZ than if you didn't know that there was a Dan Hooker in the UFC.
Dude, wouldn't you be so heartbroken? Because Poirier seems like such a good guy and he does so much for charity. If they were just like, Poirier beat the shit out of a prostitute, I'd be like, no.
And then ... for charity.
For charity, I'd be like, yeah. I would question the charity's ethics. They're like, yeah, we're raising money to save the planet and destroy whore women. It's like, oh, that's
not for profit because it's actually illegal.
Yeah, that sounds like a Christian charity. We're gonna burn witches.
Before we get to witch burning and hooker beatings, we sort of diverted when we said the word club. So the reason why my background,
right?
Yeah, it looks like I'm in hiding from, the
your wife.
Yeah.
That is literally what it looks like. You just need one sad baseball poster in the background. It's like, oh, this is his little man retreat.
Well, I blame her mom. So my mother-in-law came in and cleaned the club to give it let's just say it looked like a bachelor pad since I was basically living here for 3 months with nothing going on.
Oh, that's funny.
And she gave it a women's touch, which actually totally rearranged my office. Very organized. The problem is it doesn't look good for a podcast. So on that note, I have a wonderful individual on Instagram that reached out to me saying that your background is shit and I'm going to make you a new one. And he is supposed to be doing just that. So I'm excited to see what he does.
All right. So at first I was really excited about this. And now I like slowly got pissed off because I was like, oh, it's going to be a Rear Naked Radio banner. That's going to make us look so cool. And then I was like, it's not going to be.
I honestly don't know what it is. He just
it's going to be a fucking Because Jitsu banner. And then I'm going to look like an idiot because my banner is divorced mid-30s.
What exactly is that thing behind you?
It's just, I just got some like trippy kind of like, but by the way, I talked to for any jam band fans, I talked to the guitar player from Humphreys McGee and he was like, rad. And I was like, of course.
But it looks like, I don't know where you would have bought it, but I bet you it smelled like incense.
Dude, yes, 100%. It smelled like every hippie girl I've ever been with. It smelled like patchouli. It smelled like
hair wax.
Hair wax. It smelled like a 25-minute improvised song. It smelled like selling grilled cheese in the parking lot. It smells like justice. It's literally just like Jamie discovered mushrooms in his 30s.
So why do you need a new background?
I'm just buying because if yours is like all professional, like mine looked cool. While when you didn't have a background, when it was like, oh, Drew's like the professional gym owner, there's the gym, and then like Jamie's like the funny fuck up, and it's like he does drugs and has like that in the background. But if you have a Because Jitsu one, it's gonna just illuminate that I am slowly digressing into like a 19-year-old girl, and like that is now my new aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, just
Yeah, that was a good level of passive aggression. I'm gonna pass that on to him and see what he says.
No, just say make me a fucking say my co-host is weak and is fragile. Guys, here's how fragile I am. Drew and I, before we started the podcast, I go, I believe I said like some Hawaiian bullshit. I was like, hey, how's it, brother? I was all excited.
Aloha.
Yeah, aloha. And he's looking at his fucking phone and he's like, I gotta find questions. I was like, say hi to me. I literally, you tried to escape.
Tell me you love me.
Dude, you literally went to your office to escape your wife to just be confronted by your other wife who's just like, hey, I got emotions. I have feelings too, buddy.
What, we don't kiss anymore? What's going on?
Yeah, is it because you're in Canada and there's a pandemic and I'm a guy and you're married? Look, I'm celibate. I've said it a million times.
Yeah, so girls, stop sending nudes. Serious.
Everybody stop sending nudes. We can't talk about this. All I'm saying is, again, I get hit up by guys who are like,
sending a lot of nudes.
What's relationship advice? Say on a podcast that you're celibate. So check it out. Oh right, so I remember that story's not worth it. Let's get into shit. I got like jiu-jitsu, I got fighty stuff to talk about.
Yeah, you know what? Jamie has been off in San Diego for like, I don't know, a year?
I was in Los Angeles.
It seemed like a long time.
It seemed like a while, man. I was in Los Angeles doing some podcasts.
You might have just skipped out on second pandemic because apparently it's going down there.
Dude, I know last week. Oh, actually, let's talk about this. So last week, if you guys missed the episode,
fuck you.
We suck a dick. We lost all of our sponsor money. That's why Drew's living in storage. His mother-in-law. That's just his landlord that evicted him. So last week we talked about how what we can do with COVID and how a lot of us are going back to training and kind of how to be careful. And a lot of us are still stuck training. And then there's also that like fear of missing out. Like when I see people training, I'm like, ugh. And one of the things I talked about was finding other ways to work out that still make you feel like a fighter, that still make you feel badass. And so for me, I found in Arizona a kickboxing gym that was being really good about social distancing. And it was almost like if I didn't know how to fight, I would not recommend people to go there because it's not like there's no technique. It's just you're doing like crazy sprints and burpees, but you get to work on a punching bag. So me as a fighter, but I wouldn't consider myself an athlete. I hate burpees, running. I was never an athlete as a kid, but I'm fucking really good at fighting. So even just doing those 3 minutes on a punching bag and like hitting dope shit and thinking about combos and, feeling like a fighter, it suddenly made me school all of the class, like in shit that I'm not good at. Cause I'm like, I'm a fighter. I'm going to run faster. I'm going to be first through this fucking door. and it was really cool. That was before Arizona turned into the literal testing ground for COVID. It's just a bunch of people being like, if I wear a mask, then my wife's not going to think I'm a man. And then suddenly I'm at a truck stop sucking Carl's dick again. Why'd I say again? You shut up. I'm not going to wear a mask. And like,
I don't want COVID. Do you?
No, it's just it's a bunch of idiots who think that wearing a mask makes you weak, when in reality, it makes you fucking stronger because you are defending and helping people who are more vulnerable than you.
And you have to suck twice as much air through because it's being blocked. So your lungs become stronger.
Yes, exactly. That's
what we're getting at, I think.
That's like what you have to tell people, like fucking podcast listeners now. It'll make you tougher. It's like your
keto. Dick grows 3 inches.
Yeah, wearing a bandana is like keto, bro. You'll be able to. So that was the sound of me passing out onto a dick, just because I'm so tired of it.
I saw the funniest meme the other day. It said that the goth punk guys that used to wear like the gas masks and shit while they're raving dancing with the glow sticks, they were ahead of the curve because they can just walk around normal now.
That's funny. I've seen a bunch. I had a female comic I knew tweeted, hey, I just had to wear a mask while giving birth, like shooting a bloodied person out of my pussy. You can wear a fucking mask when you go to Costco or like whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Arizona, like I said, based on some of the even jiu-jitsu trends I was seeing, spiking, biggest in the fucking nation, more than like even like Brazil was, or
USA.
Like America is, guys, Italy, where it was so bad, all of those places are fucking fine now because they actually did what they were supposed to do, because they weren't like, saving old people makes me a bitch. It's like they just did the stuff, right? And look, everything I said before about feeling for small businesses, finding ways to maybe isolate the most vulnerable, like I stand by all of that. I don't want businesses to go under. We have to find a way to stabilize the economy. We have to find a way to make sure that people's mental health isn't fucking deteriorating. With that said, if you're not doing things as simple as wearing a fucking mask, or I don't know, going to a 30-person fucking jiu-jitsu class, that will actually help things. So with that said, I'm driving back from LA and I find out Arizona is just number one, like everywhere. So I was like, all right, man, I just did like an episode of the Jiu-Jitsu podcast, of my podcast, like really talking a big game. So I was like, this kickboxing gym, which was helping with my mental health, I was like, I can't go. Like, they're playing by the rules comparatively, but people in Arizona are being fucking idiots. There's a huge spike. I still live near old people. I'm not going to be part of the fucking problem. So I started to get really fucking depressed and had that moment, especially because I did shows last week. Thank you to everyone who came out to Tucson. The shows were fucking great. Also, so I don't forget, in 2 days, I will be in Minneapolis and Bloomington, Minnesota, Wednesday through Sunday at the House of Comedy. So that's July 1st through the 6th. And so, yeah, I mean, it's crazy enough. Like, I have to get on a fucking plane. I'll probably be safer in Minnesota, but like, I'm going to socially distance. I bought a bunch of dope masks. But I was really depressed because I was like, all right, I guess I just go back to like drinking and eating shitty because I'm going to be in comedy mode. And I'm listening to these comedy podcasts about, oh, they're partying back on the road and all this shit. And I get depressed when I'm not taking care of myself. And so I talked to my brother, and my brother's just like, oh, he's awesome. He's like in shape and like a foot taller than me and like the sweetest guy. He reminds me of like Jim from The Office. He's just cool. And like in the perfect marriage, he's younger than me, but like I totally look up to him. And he was like, dude, I'm doing at-home workouts. He was like, get this fucking Nike app. And I was like, Nike? And he was like, yeah, they literally have the most money and the biggest scientists and athletes in the world. I guess they're doing the premium thing for free.
Oh, cool.
There are a bunch of different programs you can sign up for. And I told him, I was like, but I fucking hate anything that's not fighting. Like, I hate it. And he was like, just fucking trust me, do it. And the first 2 minutes, I didn't want to do it. And dude, I did it. And it was fucking great. And the thing that I'm not plugging the Nike. Can you imagine if we
yeah, new sponsor, guys.
A Nike ad? Yeah. Hey guys, when you're fucking your lady in the ass, just do it. Bam, bam, bam. So yeah, no, Origin will let us say stuff like that. I don't know about Nike. So, but what my brother said is, he was like, dude, you're not just like doing exercise for all of the reasons you guys know we should do exercise, but like you're training your mind. And it's so true, where like when I was going to the kickboxing class, I had some ripped fucking dude being like, don't stop. But when I'm running on my own, or I'm doing a Nike app and I fucking see that like some girls texting me, I can stop. And when I started thinking about it in terms of, I'm not losing something by having jiu-jitsu taken from me, because like real talk, I'm probably not going to train till like next year. Or I'm not losing something by temporarily having this kickboxing place taken from me. I was like, I'm going to gain willpower. I'm going to gain like mental strength. And fucking dude, I've done 2 workouts today. Like I PR'd my fucking run. I'm not a runner. My running shoes are like falling apart. And then a second Nike workout. I was like dripping with sweat yesterday. Like I still felt like a badass. And so the one piece of advice I would give, if you can't train yet or you're struggling, is when I come back, I'm going to be in better shape and I'm going to be mentally stronger.
You're going to get your Nike orange belt.
I'm gonna get my Nike orange belt, and then I'm gonna get just do tattooed. And then the other thing that you can get from it. So I'm gonna be mentally stronger. That's dope. But the other piece of advice I would give is like, if you're not training, think about what you are taking in to your brain. So think about your mental diet, right? I was looking for excuses to derail. So I was just listening to these comedy podcasts about people drinking, about whatever. And I go, cool, that's what I am.
I don't know if I've listened to too many comedy podcasts outside of Joe Rogan. Is all they do is just drink and tell people to drink? Is that what it is?
I mean, it's like that, but it's not drinking specific, because a lot of them had to get sober.
A lot of heroin.
I heard someone describe comedy recently, I think Neil Brennan did, as like, you're talking about like minor transgressions. So what they mean by that is like, okay, you can't be like, hey, isn't it funny when you murder somebody, right? But it's all of these, like, you're getting laughs off of being a fuck up, right? Whether it's like being shitty in a relationship, drinking, even just like little things like staying out late, like shit like that. As opposed to you listen to Jocko and it's like, I want to wake up at 5 and I want to like fight terror, right? And so there's this phrase that I really truly believe in, and it's the 5. You are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with, or something like that.
Sure.
You surround yourself with. And what that means is if I'm hanging out with, or if you guys are hanging out with like a bunch of work buddies that only get joy out of like going out, getting drunk after work and like shitting on their wives, you're not going to go much further than that. But if you're hanging around people who are constantly challenging you and who are doing really great things, you will inherently absorb some of that. You will take on some of their qualities, right? So you can either be like a powerful Captain Planet who wants to go do great things, or a drunk Captain Planet who's like throwing up in the gutter. But you will, with those forces combined, you will turn into one of those.
I think I missed that episode. I'm gonna have to watch it back. I never saw drunk Captain Planet to get
I'm
the
going to be
mind
honest.
image.
It was almost as heartbreaking as the AC Slater steroids episode.
No.
I have similar memories to both of them. And then, he tried to fuck the wind girl. It wasn't good. I don't know if there's a wind girl, but I thought that sounded funny. So if you are quarantined right now, you're like, well, I don't have people. I have my kids. I'm like, the sum total of my kids. It's like, no. It can be what you watch. If I wake up in the morning and I just like turn on fucking like Rick and Morty, my day is going to be far different than if I watch some 10-minute video of like The Rock talking about his workout. Or if I listen to a podcast that's telling me to like, hey, get off my ass, or go write, or go work out, or even a jiu-jitsu podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, and I'm thinking about jiu-jitsu. I feel like a fighter. I mean, one of the reasons that I fucking worked out so hard today is after watching UFC last night. And I'm like, again, old me, I would have ordered pizza, I would have whatever. And I'm like, no, I want to be like a fucking athlete. So this Nike app, watching UFC, listening to jiu-jitsu podcasts, or even, again, it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu podcasts. It could just be podcasts about like being a better person instead of like making fun of people. Like, I'm not like, look, I still do that. And like, still, comedy's good. It's healthy. But for me, it's like, I just needed to be overly inspired because I don't have my usual jiu-jitsu or kickboxing or whatever.
Well, inspiration can be used as like topical medicine, right? It's not the cure. It's not going to cure anybody who's got like real life problems like we all do, but it can give you the energy and inspiration. I guess the inspiration can give you the inspiration.
Well, and we
get things going and work on the problem.
I mean, look, and I mentioned this, probably we both did, when COVID first started. A lot of us are realizing that we got some deep-seated emotional bullshit that we were just sort of duct taping with jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And when jiu-jitsu was taken from a lot of us, we started eating shitty. We started spiraling. Our depression came back. And again, when it comes to looking at the positive instead of the negative, if I don't have jiu-jitsu, whatever, it's like, look, if you're a strong fighter and you are, if you do jiu-jitsu, like you have strength within you, even if you're a fucking white belt, then this is the opportunity where it's like, just like you were just saying about inspiration, even jiu-jitsu, it can't be all we have, because we see that it can be taken from us, or you get injured, or you get ever. So do you want, even though jiu-jitsu is a beautiful, healthy thing, you don't want to be reliant on anything for your fucking mental health. So if whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a job, you want to be so fucking mentally strong that if that thing gets taken away from you, right? A job, there's a breakup, jiu-jitsu, you still can be like, well, I know I still go running. I know I still create something. I know I still have some kind of mindfulness practice. I know that I don't want to fucking just start drinking when I'm depressed. And I want to drink when I'm celebrating something and not just to numb pain.
And just a reminder, guys, this is a jiu-jitsu podcast. So we will talk about other things besides having it taken away from us. But just presently speaking, it's being taken away from a lot of people. So it's kind of the topic at hand. Can we talk about how the U.S. sent stimulus checks to a bunch of people but never sent, like, grappling dummies? Like, I think that would have really helped people.
That would have helped. That would have helped a lot. That would have really, just like, or like if they couldn't afford grappling dummies, just like a little stress ball. You remember those?
Oh God! Like, can you choke it? Is this a choke ball?
I know. Well, you're doing jiu-jitsu, so what's it like? So anyway, that's my little spiel for people who are stuck right now, who can't train. It's like, try to look at it like, what can I do, instead of like, stop saying I can't do jiu-jitsu. Like, well, I'll eat healthier when I do jiu-jitsu. I can't. Like, stop. Just be like, what can I do right now? And then you'll be fucking better at jiu-jitsu. You'll be a better human. But you'll also,
good life advice.
Guys, I mean, like, when I walked into like any jiu-jitsu gym, it's like everyone has gained like fucking 40 pounds. It's like, Jesus, guys. You got to examine, like, jiu-jitsu can't be the only thing that stops you. Like, Sam Harris always talks about this with religion, when he talks about people who are like, yeah, if I didn't have religion, I'd be out raping and murdering. And you're like, well, that's not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, maybe that's a you problem.
Yeah. Like, you can't do that with jiu-jitsu, where it's just like, well, yeah, I'm a piece of shit unless I'm training. It's like, guys, this is a really wonderful opportunity. As someone who has gone back and forth between, I've had the best days of my life in quarantine, and I've like really, there have been days where I've been like, gone back to like thinking about suicide and stuff like that. Like, I've done both. I get it. I'm not talking down to anybody. Like, it's hard, but we can see this. I still overall see this quarantine was a huge opportunity for me to like dig deep and like become mentally stronger. And like, so you have to see it as like, what can I gain from this really shitty situation?
And this really is life applicable. This isn't just for jiu-jitsu. So, like, for example, any good therapist worth their salt will tell you that who you are is not what you do. This is why a lot of the middle class in America ended up spiking in suicide rates once they were losing their jobs, for any number of reasons. There's lots of times when we've, it could have been the bubble crash in 2008 where everybody was losing their job. It could have been the oil in 2015, everybody was losing their job.
Yo, Drew, I don't like how much you know about our crashes. That makes me think that maybe Canada was behind some of this shit. I was like, you're really rattling off those dates. It could have been Tuesday, June 15th, when it's like, hey.
All I'm saying is don't be in wind energy in 2022. And for no good reason. Just let me tell you right now. Just start a guess.
No, that means Captain Planet finally fucked her. That's not good. But that's not good at all.
This is why that happened, is because people, their entire identity was their job. Whereas in our field, a lot of people, including myself, a lot of my identity is tied to the art, tied to the sport. Like, for the last decade plus, it's been like that. So for that to be taken away, you really have to step away from yourself for a second and realize, like, who is Drew?
Yeah.
Drew isn't Jiu-Jitsu. Okay,
Right.
Jiu-Jitsu is part of Drew, but I don't cease to exist when it does.
You should be able to be placed. And I feel like I just turned 38, and this is the first year I feel this way. I should be able to be placed in a fucking comedy club in Scotland, a jiu-jitsu club in fucking San Diego, jobless in New York, you know, whatever, and still have constants where I have built myself up to where I'm strong enough that on the worst days, you know, how many times do you hear people go, I was going to meditate or I was going to work out yesterday, but yesterday was like, it was just a really shitty day. That's the most important day to do it.
Yeah.
That's when you have to go do it and pull yourself up. And like, I forget if I talked about this on my podcast, but it's worth repeating, or this podcast. But like that first day going to kickboxing, I was so depressed. It was like either trailing off the suicide day or the day after. And when I was like, go to the gym, be healthy, stop being a piece of shit. No way. Way too much. But I was lying on the couch and I was literally just like, just go put shorts on. And then I even told myself, I go, you don't have to go to the gym. Just go put shorts on. And I want to put shorts on. And then I like sat down and it was so hard. I was dreading it. And all I wanted to do was like literally just like jerk off and go to sleep on the couch. And I was like, all right, well, if you fucking jerk off into gym shorts, you're going to feel like an asshole.
You got to get new shorts.
So, yeah. So I was like, just get in the car. And I said, I go, if you want to turn around, fucking turn around. Just go. And then I started thinking about my ego got involved. And I started thinking about, I'm not going to be able to be the best in the class today. And I'm the best in the class. Dude, I've been going there for like 2 weeks. Like, I don't even know if anyone knows my name. But I'm watching everyone like a fucking hawk. And I'm like, I'm going to outwork everybody because I'm a psycho. And I go, oh, I'm not going to be able to fucking do that. And then I gave myself permission. I go, be shitty. Just go. I was like, you can be shitty. And I even said, I was like, I'm going to tell my coach, I'm like, I was going to fucking lie. Like, these are the things I had to do to get there. And I fucking got there doing all of these things, outworked everybody. And I left and I felt like a fucking superhero. And then I was great. And then just good shit started happening to me. I started being nice again. I started thinking about other people instead of living in this like sort of like sad cave I created. And then suddenly like, yeah, Keenan called and was like, hey, come do this video in San Diego. And then I got to do like 2 of my favorite podcasts in LA, and all this really incredible stuff happened. Like my relationship with my mom is suddenly fucking incredible. Like, honestly, if it's so addicting to come up with these fucking narratives of, you know, yeah, I don't have jiu-jitsu, or I'm this piece of shit, or I'm eating shitty. And then again, the 5 people thing, you find people that can validate that. If I'm derailing and eating shitty, guess who I want to talk to? My fuck up friends. I don't want to talk to my brother. I don't want to like watch UFC. You know what I mean? I want to talk to people who are going to enable me to feel good about those shitty decisions. And so Poirier, after one of the best fights I've ever seen in my fucking life, that prostitute had some skills. In his post-fight interview, and I think this, you know, because it was a back and forth fight, and Poirier pulled it off. And there's a quote where he goes, "A fight isn't a fight until there's something to overcome." And I don't even think he realized that he was being wise. He was just like, this was like post-fight. He's covered in blood. And he was
severely concussed.
Yeah. Probably dead right now as we speak.
Speaking through layers of CTE.
R.I.P. Really feeling for his wife and child right now. I don't even know if he realized how profound that was for the time we're living in, whether it comes to COVID, Black Lives Matter, not training, depression, or literally just training, just being in a fucking
last words.
Being in a yeah, he must have known he was going out. He's like, I got to say something profound.
Tombstone.
Yeah. Does he say a haiku? Oh, he knows. He knows. So but that's true. Where it's like these moments, whether it's a physical fight or mentally, it's like, yeah, man, if you're just coasting along, you're not challenging yourself. And if you're just giving up, you're being a piece of shit. So it's like, recognize the challenge and then fight. Just fucking fight.
Yeah, there's a big difference just in your own perception when you look at something as a challenge or as a full destruction, right? Like I'm being destroyed by this, or this is a
Right.
challenge to me,
Yeah.
right? That can change your outlook. And really, it's what you decide it is. If you decide that it's destroying everything that you have and everything that you are, it will, because you're letting it.
Yeah, and also, like, do you want to give it that power?
Exactly.
Let's say there's someone, it could be as simple as there's someone on your, dude, I unfollowed a bunch of people on Instagram who either I felt myself getting jealous about, or there was some racist bullshit or some dumb COVID shit. And even if I still would be friends with them, I'm like, I don't want that in my brain.
Yeah.
Right? Like the equivalent of just like basking, they call it doom scrolling too. Like there was so much drama going on with comedy and like the horrible like Chris D'Elia shit and whatever that you get addicted to just you doom scroll.
Doom scroll, I love that.
It's good, right? And you're just looking at the hashtags and it becomes an addiction where you're like, well, my life isn't that bad. I never sent a picture.
This is why people watch horror movies.
Dude, 100%. And so that's the equivalent of like waking up and just like shoving McDonald's into your mouth. Like it is what is your mental diet, and which goes back to what I was talking about before. But I'm like, I just want to see people that inspire me and that want to pull the best out of me. And like, dude, it can be so when you say, so to your point, Drew, where I was going with that was like, if there's someone, I've had so many friends be like, oh, every time I see this fucking person post on Facebook, I just get so mad. Unfollow them.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to give power to the shit that's driving you crazy. You know, you can turn off the news and just be decent to black people or just wear a mask. You don't need to, if it is causing you distress, you don't need to follow every person that said a shitty thing. You can just be an example in the world of a person who does a good thing. There are ways to get those toxic elements out of your life. But again, to what Drew was saying, it's like, don't give those motherfuckers power over you.
And conversely, if you decide that it's going to be a challenge and not like an apocalypse, then you only grow through challenges. It's the times in your life where you make the most stride is when you have to overcome something. And like, look, I get real comfortable when things are going good. And I almost am waiting for something to go bad subconsciously, because I know that if it does, things get better afterwards. And it's always been the case.
Everything good in my life has happened after immense failure or like a catastrophe. But you have to look at it that way. And also, like, isn't that better? Instead of just like sitting around sad about not training, beating up your body, treating yourself like shit, taking it out on your loved ones. Like, isn't it better to actually have a goal? Like, okay, so my goal is in jiu-jitsu right now, but my goal is to become like the most mentally strong version of myself. That's killer. I have a goal. That's like, I want, like, I'm going to train every day because I want my purple belt, or I'm going to compete at Pans, or I'm going to whatever. It's like giving yourself a goal. Suddenly you're just turning it up. So like Drew was saying, like you can turn those challenges into like, this is my goal. And it's just a different aspect. Like, guys, you hear everybody say it, how like the mental part of jiu-jitsu and the mental part of fighting is the most important. Yet we suddenly can't train for a couple months and we're just like, that's it. Like, time to like do cocaine. And we just turn into these like monsters. And it's like, wait, don't you remember what they were saying about the mental stuff? It's like, yeah, but I thought that was just like mental stuff, like don't tap. And it's like, no, idiot. It's like being a decent fucking human being and being mentally strong, even when things suck. And like, and look, there are days when it's hard. But if you are, I mean, so to get really deep into mental health, like when I was thinking about like suicide and depression back in the day, before jiu-jitsu, before I kind of like did all this like inner work, I would define, it felt like forever. So anytime I would get depressed, I would just go, this is who I am. And so I would lean into it. What does a depressed person do? Eat shitty, drinks, posts about how fucking shitty their life is, goes after people, isn't in healthy relationships, all this stuff. Now when it happens, like I realize I post about it and people get like so scared. Like my Instagram is a shit show right now because people are like, are you okay? When I posted about like feeling suicide-y is how I phrased it. The difference now is because of meditation, because of exercise, because of eating healthy, because of reading, because of all of these things, my relationships, having less friends, but like a higher quality of friends, like Drew, my relationship with my family. I got to go, oh, all right. Like, this is what meditation does. You get to kind of like leave your body and observe, where I'm like, oh, you're thinking about suicide again. Well, that's not good. Like, what could have caused this? And I go, oh, this and that caused it. And I go, well, that fucking makes sense. And then you go, do you really want to kill yourself? And you go, nah, not really. And it's like, all right, well, what will make you feel better right now? Because if I identified as I am a suicidal person, I am a fuck up, I am a train wreck, I am a depressed person, I'm not looking for solutions. I'm leaning into it. But if I go, no, I'm a healthy, happy, confident person who is feeling depressed, who thought about suicide, what does that person do? And it's okay to feel that way right now.
You caught yourself mentally doom scrolling.
Yes, 100%. And then that was the like, put shorts on. And like it starts with put shorts on. And you do stuff that a healthy person would do instead of identifying as a sack of shit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that was great. So for myself, getting back to jiu-jitsu for the first week, it's actually been really good. Like, we've got a lot of
you're like, sorry, sad sack over there.
Yeah, sorry that
I'm having a blast. I'm hitting new moves.
I'm not in ground zero for the moment. We're often relatively butt fuck nowhere, Alberta.
Yeah, but you guys, listen, you had it bad, dude. You had it worse than me in the beginning.
Who did? Me?
You did. Wasn't your area bad?
No, not mine.
The shutdown was bad.
There was parts of Alberta, and generally speaking, they're the large cities. There's Edmonton,
keep
Calgary.
telling your story. I'm sorry to bring up dated Alberta news.
Yeah, everybody's waiting for that one.
Can you talk about Alberta, but like several weeks ago? Got it.
No, we were always fairly flat as far as our curve was concerned.
Cool.
Okay, so you sounded like innuendo, but it wasn't.
Nice.
We
I like them flat and fat.
We've got a lot of as many precautions as we could take to train here in small groups. People aren't interacting. We're doing full gym cleans in between, temp checks, the whole fucking thing. But for the first week, we had maybe 50% of the people come back, which is more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And God, man, like just being able to do something that I was thinking about for all that time
on a human,
so satisfying.
I'm sure.
Like when you're any time in life when you make plans for something and like months of planning, it wasn't so much planning. It's just constant like
sex,
mental preparation.
Sex.
It's a relief to finally do it. And so like this week
I was literally
good.
having sex. I was just like, I've been thinking about this. And I was like, take it in. This is as incredible as you thought it would be.
Yeah, I just really want to enjoy this time. Hopefully we don't get a second wave, but at least until that second wave comes, that I can really enjoy it. And really like getting up in the morning has felt better. I've been treating my family better than during the quarantine. Not to say that I was a piece of shit husband, but like,
no, your kids were texting me saying you were a piece of shit.
Yeah, I know those fuckers. I'm going to get them.
It's you only changed their phone number so many times. I'll find them.
Yep. I just felt like I've been firing on more than one cylinder this week. You know what I mean?
That's great, man. I mean, it really does. Yeah, I mean, it gives you purpose, especially you with your business. I meant to tell you this. When you said the 50% thing, I thought of it. Some like kind of good news if people are like really nervous about like, is anyone even going to come back to jiu-jitsu like when this is all done? You remember after 9/11 when like I lived in fucking New York, people were like, I'm never flying again.
Right.
And now you're literally required to wear a fucking face covering in order to board a plane. You know what I mean? No one's really thinking about like terrorists right now.
That's true.
Which, by the way, any terrorists listening, what a great time to strike. Right? Like no one would see that coming.
Remember how we were talking about murder hornets kind of going under the radar because of all the other shit going on? Eddie Bravo, God bless his soul, posted something today or yesterday that was...
I'm so happy to say I did not see this. Whatever you're about to say.
It was a news article, of course, saying that I think it was Louisiana authorities warn that people flushing their meth down the toilet is going to cause the alligators to become hyper aggressive. And so
Right.
the title was Watching Out for Meth-Gators.
Meth
So we've got
gators.
murder hornets and Meth-Gators. I feel like we need to bring the Coliseum back and get all these super animals fighting each other for our entertainment.
Yeah, our move is to pit them against each other and then just like hide.
Yeah, so I put it up in my story saying, would you rather fight 15 murder hornets or one Meth-Gator?
That's why I saw that. I was like, I'm pretty sure I muted Eddie Bravo, but I saw you post. I saw you post it. I might have unfollowed. I went on a fucking purge of unfollowing. Wait, what the fuck was I gonna say? Terrorist striking, murder hornets.
Not being able to fly, 50% of people coming back.
Oh yeah, so like people will come back, you know, and I mean, you saw even like now, you know, jiu-jitsu is really important to people. Flying is really important to people. We can get scared about something, and that something will go away. Like this will go away. Yeah. So just like no fear. That's one of the things I keep thinking about is the 9/11 thing. Where it's
I haven't
like,
thought about no fear since the 90s.
no fear. Yeah. I have no fear shirt, Umbro shorts, Birkenstock sandals, ready to not fuck. That was literally my outfit.
The sandals do not come off at sex.
They do. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So the Poirier thing, if you guys haven't watched it, watch that fight. Mental health stuff. We got some questions. Oh, we have some good guests coming up.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, we're going to try to feature some people who they do have really good followings, but most importantly, instead of like the big name recognitions, guys, I talked to someone very famous who had to unfollow Flow Grappling because they only show like Gordon Ryan. And I was like, God, I'm so glad I unsubscribed. The thought of paying like, hey, you want to pay fucking $80 a month to watch a 20-year-old make fun of homeless people? No, I don't. So
I thought you'd never ask. The answer's no.
So what we're going to try to do on this show is highlight some voices. I mean, that Spriggs episode got shared a lot.
Yeah, so can I say a lot of people are unfollowing right now, and the person I hear as a common denominator the most in the jiu-jitsu world is Gordon Ryan. Yeah. Most people I talk to say that they couldn't stand him anymore and they unfollowed.
It was hard, man. I mean, like there are some people who try to be like edgy and funny or whatever, and then there are some people, yeah, where it just gets to the point, especially when the world's in such like disarray, that it's just like, oh, are you just like a shitty person? Because they're like, okay, so there were like a bunch of like really terrible like rape allegations that happened in the comedy community, but also in the professional wrestling community.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really bad. And they and so, you know, like every sort of cancel culture thing, everyone's coming out with like, well, this guy said this and this guy, just trying to get as many people as possible, which I always think is shitty because that buries like, let's go after the rapists. Like, let's go after them first. And then you can talk about this guy said an offensive thing. Right. And so there was this one guy in AEW who this old thing came out where he like said like, this girl's so hot I would like rape her. Right. Incredibly unfunny, terrible thing. They fucking suspended him. This is why I love them over the WWE. They suspended him without pay and are donating his pay to a fucking women's shelter.
Amazing. Oh,
like,
wow.
That is what you do. That's so incredible.
That's so on the nose.
And I realized with this guy is, you know, look, he could be a hateful, I don't know. He could be a fucking hateful guy who hates women, whatever. But that specific joke, she's so hot I would rape her, is what unfunny guys think comedy is.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I've heard so many people
in the jock change room.
Yes. I've heard so many people make versions of that joke.
Sure.
And I would much rather examine like the whys behind things instead of automatically just being like, this guy's a fucking rapist. He hates women, blah, blah, blah. Where it's like, oh, I think they think they're being edgy, but they forget that like the majority of people aren't funny. Like comedians work very hard to be fucking funny.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys just think it's like old Andrew Dice Clay, you know, oh, I just have to say like, oh, I'd rape her or like, or some like just easy, like racist stereotype joke.
Yeah.
You sound like a drunk uncle.
I'm happy to hear that. This is something, do you want me to get meta for a second?
Yeah.
This is something that, okay, cool. This is something that I'm really hoping happens because of all of the fuckery that's going on online right now. I hope that people as a whole who use the internet will start growing up and understanding more what's happening when people are posting things. Whether it's, are you a fire starter shit stirrer? Are you looking at one side only on purpose? Are you, trying to incite something, or are you actually looking for what's going on and knowing the difference and trying to weed out the people that are just bad actors,
Dude, this is this is why I got off Twitter. This is why like I'm focusing on Instagram, because it's mainly just like the pathogens who follow me and like our community, trying to make like jiu-jitsu, which I care about, like less douchey.
This is the biggest problem with the internet right now and the way that we communicate online. And this is something that Rogan always goes on about, how he feels like the internet is in its infancy right now, or maybe it's like it's in its adolescence, where we're just like throwing shit at the wall because we think it's funny. I feel like this could be the time period in history where we actually come into adulthood on the internet, and we can look at, like you're saying, like maybe that guy just thought that was funny. He's probably not a rapist.
Right.
But there's also so many people that would make a clickbait headline saying rapist says.
But also like, and hopefully he learns like that shit's not funny.
Exactly. People can get better from this instead of canceling them.
Right. Like and also like when we're talking about things like that, we need to be focusing on like going after these fucking rapists and like helping these women. And like, look, there are a lot of creepy guys out there, and we saw with jiu-jitsu there were a lot of racist guys out there. And the only reason I brought him up is because, with the Gordon thing, at first Gordon, it just seemed like he was that, where it's like, oh, you're just like an unfunny guy who thinks that like you wear a crown and you call a homeless guy gay. All right. All right, cool. Like fucking Henry Cejudo. Fucking, you're also terribly unfunny. Very talented athlete, but it's like, how do you get big? He also, I believe, wore a fucking crown and
he literally called himself the king of cringe. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, guys, if there's one thing we've learned in combat sports, where there's a crown, there's probably a douchebag underneath that crown. But then it just got to a point where, as the sort of world was imploding on itself, it's kind of like, all right, man, I don't have time for that anymore. Like I would rather support voices that are gonna like uplift people, inspire people, fucking defend people,
or even just look for what the answer to the problem is instead of just screaming at the problem.
Yeah, or just be funny. Like, Drew, you're just fucking fun. Like, I mean, you took some incredible political stances, but you're just like, I forgot. Because I've been talking about politics more, the majority of my emails have been like, thank you, blah, 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 political stance. But every once in a while, I'll get one that's like, man, just your video, just like laughing during this shit, or the podcast, just like that's helped. And I forgot that just like making someone laugh is a political statement in 2020. Being nice to someone is political defiance in 2020. Being nice to someone who disagrees with you, having a civil exchange with someone, like,
that's how we can grow, as a people.
100%.
As people, especially, have to interact with each other online, most often through text. We gotta grow up. You know? And I really hope that, because of the number of problems that are being thrown at us at the same time,
Meth-Gators.
we kind of have to, or else we're gonna implode.
Right.
We have to look at how to fix the fucking problem. And that's my hope, I guess.
100%. So the next couple shows, we're going to try to highlight some really cool voices that I think you guys will like a lot. Let's get to we got like 2 good questions, many terrible questions, but we got 2 good questions, jiu-jitsu questions that I want to get to, and then we will and then we'll wrap.
That'll be time. We'll
wrap this shit up.
We'll have to before we get to the questions though, you had mentioned that terrorism is at an suspiciously all-time low.
It's a little suspicious,
right? Like, sometimes the loudest voice is the one you don't hear. You're like, what? They used to make a lot of noise. There's something. Either they're dead, which I mean, look, I don't like people dying, but I like terrorists dying. Okay, I'm okay with that one. I'm fine with that one.
You know, Drew, you just gave this whole fucking spiel about like how we have to listen to opposing voices.
Right.
And like, terrorists should die. Maybe you should fucking hear them out. Maybe you should take your own goddamn advice and stop being such a privileged white guy and listen to what the terrorists have.
Yeah,
to
you know, maybe I got it wrong. Let's raise a couple towers. Like I'm thinking like 110 stories tall.
Great.
And
Twins.
Right.
Twins, let's say
two of them. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Like a tower that's so beautiful. When you see one, you're like,
in reverence
with the other one.
In reverence to what we believe these terrorists could be, good people. And I guess that will show that we understand their stance as human beings and that we support them in their choices.
Old political Jamie is so back with a vengeance because I want to be like, that was a funny joke we made. Also, a lot of the terrorism happens because of blah, 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 blah. But I'm not going to do it because it's a jiu-jitsu podcast. But you can listen to my podcast for my fucking liberal views. Yeah. So anyway, Drew, you were saying terrorism is at an all-time low. Are you suspicious about this?
I am suspicious. And one of two things could be going on. Either A, the murder hornets and the terrorists collided in a war that we heard nothing about and wiped each other out.
Oh, that would be great.
This is possible.
That would be
now
like
the Meth-Gators are going to rule us.
Yeah, that would be very Naked Gun-esque, the thought of like a bunch of terrorists trying to shoot murder hornets, but just like spraying bullets.
Hitting each other. Or B, our pathogens they become so mighty, so powerful, and have been spending all of their money with our promo code at originmain.com that the terrorists understand they don't stand a chance against our pathogen army.
Because the more we fund Origin Main, the more, I mean, look, there is a great chance that Jocko's just been running around whenever he says he's on a book tour, just killing terrorists.
I have a feeling that, you know how he takes those pictures in the morning, it says aftermath, and it shows like a big sweat stain on the ground.
Dude, that looks like blood.
It's always in black and white.
It looks like blood.
What if we were to colorize that bitch like they do with the 1945 videos?
It's going to be a different terrorist every fucking time.
I'm going to
every fucking time.
I'm gonna meme that shit.
Meme it. This is what's happening. Fucking, you better put the goddamn show on it. That's like your fucking banner. Your I'm better than Jamie banner. Yeah, guys.
It's gonna actually have me colorized, holding a head of Jamie behind me.
It just says because jiu-jitsu. Or like if it does, it spells my name wrong with like two eyes. Like, come on, man. Guys, Origin Man. I wanted to shout out one of our fans sent me. One of our pathogens sent me a picture. He bought a bunch of the Jocko protein powder.
Oh, nice.
He's a bass player. And he has a green icon. That's all I know.
I got something to say while you look.
Okay, so please.
They not only have amazing supplements, which I've been indulging in.
They have sent me nothing still, Drew.
I'm so supplemented right now. Everything I was missing has been supplemented.
I saw him comment on your fucking thing. This is the funniest ad. But look, there's another guy there. It opened up with me complaining, being like, what the reason the clip opened up with me going, what the fuck, is because Drew has a bunch of cool vitamin D. Guys, the podcast won't happen if I die of COVID. Give me the stuff too.
Give Jamie the D.
Drew literally said, he's like, yeah, my area is fine. We've had a fucking flattened curve forever. I am in an incubator of COVID right now. I am surrounded by humans made of COVID, and they're just fucking, and they're making little COVID babies. I'm locked in my goddamn apartment because every time I go outside, I just see these Arizonian COVID monsters just coughing all over each other. And I'm like, but Drew gets vitamin D? I need it. I'm going to fucking die. There's not going to be a Is that why you're getting your own fucking banner? Because you know I'm going to die of COVID soon? Because Origin won't send me my goddamn... And the stuff is so good. This is going to sound fake, but it's so good. I debated, I'm like, I guess I'm going to fucking buy it and use our goddamn promo code, even though I can get it for fucking free. That is how bad I want the stuff. You can get it right now. I'm going to wait because I'm fucking a Jew. I'm going to wait. You have the power to be not as angry as me. OriginMain.com. I guess use our fucking promo code. I'm coughing. It's probably COVID.
Get a little bit of COVID on you.
What's our promo code? I'm
Rear
so
naked,
mad.
rear naked, all caps, all one word. They're making gis again now, is what I was going to say. Is they're back to producing after saving the world by making tens of thousands of masks that a lot of them were donated to hospitals. They've gotten back to their gi production, and not only that, but right now the Athleta gi, which can come in black or white, is first of all boss ass shit. It is amazing looking. It's not their highest in the price margin, so if you've been hurting from COVID, not having a job, this is going to be more in your price range. But
Nice.
also, for a limited time, they're sending you a free DNA rash guard with every purchase, so you get like an extra $80 on top of that.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, then use our promo code and we got 10% off. Well, he doesn't have his goddamn name on here, but he's one of our like hardcore pathogens who I should shout out anyway. Walt's Base on the old Instagram. Oh my god, he just posts like cats and Black Lives Matter stuff. He seems like a dope dude. So yeah, so shout out. He'll be our little pathogen of the week. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting Origin. Thanks for not being a racist piece of shit. And good on you, Walt's Base. Oh, questions, right?
Yes, questions. Let's hit it.
All right, so I got one, which is this is from Joe. Joe wrote, someone new to Jiu-Jitsu. Number one, you're spelling it wrong, so you're welcome. Before you make that mistake.
Did they spell Jewy?
He said J-U-I. He's like, it's fine. That's how we spelled it when I was doing Hapkido. It's like, oh no. It's one of those. Would you recommend working out cardio / general lifting / HIIT for a month or so to help your body be ready to begin truly training jiu-jitsu? Or would you say, this made me laugh, throw your body on the mat and trial by fire? So this is a great question. And this is a question I hear a lot from friends of mine who want to do jiu-jitsu. Obviously, COVID answer is if it's not safe, yeah, doing one of these workouts instead of going and rolling around on the mats is good while we try to flatten the curve. In general, though, no, you should go do the thing that you want to do. Oftentimes, it's a very good question, but a lot of times, like he said he already started, because he's a white belt, but a lot of times people will they'll use that as almost like an excuse to just push off doing the scary thing, where it's like now you're just putting more fucking obstacles in your way, where I'm like, all right, I have to sign up for a HIIT workout and like eventually I'll do jiu-jitsu, but then you're going to get into your HIIT workout and you're either not going to like it and you're going to go, well, I definitely shouldn't do jiu-jitsu, or you're going to like it and you're going to be like, well, this is better than fucking having people fight me. And then you're going to find a way to kind of like chicken out of jiu-jitsu. Pragmatically, it's like you're going to get all that if you want to do them. Like, you're not a professional athlete right now. You know, when you get to a certain level, at like a higher level, blue belt, purple belt, you start competing. Okay, now we supplement, we do some other workouts, whatever. Or if you're Marcelo Garcia, you just train more. But like, go do the thing you want to get good at. Don't go do another. It would be like if you're like, hey, I really want to get good at guitar, but like, should I dance first just so I know what like music feels like? It's like, no, go play guitar.
Yeah. I got a couple things about that. So this is something that you hear all the time and it gets memed to death is I have to get in shape before I go train. First of all, realistically speaking, if you're out of shape and you're going to train, it's going to be harder than if you're in shape, clearly. Okay, that's not a question. We're not saying it's not going to be hard. But one of the coolest things to people who are out of shape that are getting into training is you're going to see the most gains in a short amount of time. If you're fit and you come in, then it's, you know, you're not going to see the difference in both your body size, your cardio, your enjoyment in
actually
life.
A lot of times the fit people get more butt hurt when I beat the shit out of them.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because they were they thought they were going to be fucking good.
I got a student, and I'm not going to drop their name, but they were exactly like this, and they don't come that often anymore because they're so fit and they're so strong, and they just can't get why that isn't enough.
Sorry, Kevin. Guess.
So if you're out of shape and you're wanting to get in shape first, first of all, you're missing a chance to actually get in shape by training. It's going to do both at the same time. You're going to see a lot of results at the same time, but also if you're just getting in shape to get in shape, you're not training to defend yourself at the same time. What wouldn't you want to do both? And you think about that, you extrapolate that out. Why do you want to learn self-defense? Well, because if somebody jumps you, you have something that you can do. So in the meantime, while you're doing your HIIT and your cardio kickboxing that isn't actually fighting, and somebody jumps you in that time, you're like, wait, I haven't taken jiu-jitsu yet. Give me like 5 more months to get in shape.
Yeah, we can have a wall ball competition.
Exactly. Like,
do some weighted lunges together.
There's never been a better time than yesterday to start training this shit, because you need to put in time to get good at it. And all the time you're not doing it, you're not getting good at it.
Well, there has been a better time. Any time when we weren't under global quarantine and pandemic. Literally, there's been every time in history has been better than this. But other than that,
waiting for my stimulus dummy to come in the mail.
Look, why don't you get fucking your best friends over at Origin? Or the guy who's going to send you a fucking backdrop to do it.
Wait, I gotta send a message.
Yeah. I don't get. Here's what I get. I get fucking 200 DMs being like, "Are you gonna kill yourself?" That's what I get. I don't get free shit because they're like, "Jamie's gonna be dead by the time it gets to him."
I get supplements and a backdrop, and apparently my co-host is getting slowly weeded out.
This is bullshit. Yeah, they're like, if COVID doesn't get him, he's definitely gonna kill himself. Oh, fuck you guys.
Okay, let's get to my question, because I read it to you before the show started, and I don't quite understand the wording. You're like, I get it.
So easy.
So this is your people. This is for you.
Dumb. Spells things wrong.
Grammatically incorrect. Yeah. Okay. So it says, and I will literally read it verbatim for all of my pathogens out there.
All right.
And then give it to Jamie to
for your I mean, I am like, I do have a host of learning disabilities.
Yeah, because I was going to throw it into the pile of bullshit that I got given to me for questions, because we had a pile of it. And you're like, whoa, wait, I think that one's not bullshit.
That one's a real question. It's not like, let me buy pictures of your feet. It's like, oh.
Jamie, this one's for you.
Yeah.
Okay. It says, how to gain confidence, especially when the guy is a higher belt.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? It's like when you're training with someone, how do you be confident when you're training with people with higher belts?
So is this saying...
Hold on. This guy's not confident already. Don't shit all over his question.
All right.
Answer his question instead of just being like, well, I hope you're good at jiu-jitsu.
I was about to comedy his ass into the grave.
No. He's struggling.
Okay. Hit him up.
So I actually perform my best with higher belts oftentimes. I mean, obviously, like, I can like fucking murder through a bunch of blue and purple belts, but like,
but you're a brown belt, so there's literally only one higher belt.
Yeah, no. But I mean, like, when I go with like world champions or when I go with like UFC fighters, a lot of times, not only do I do like doper shit, but I'm like really fucking loose too. And I'm having more fun. Because the bar's kind of low. It's like, yeah, there's a great, like, if this guy kicks my ass, like, that is sort of expected. So
right, you can only do better, right?
Yeah, so I might as well have fun. When I see footage of like people at seminars going like 300% against like Keenan and stuff, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, do you honestly think you're gonna like fucking like strength tap Keenan and then he's gonna be like, well, clearly I should hire you at my gym? Like, it's an insane thing to watch. Whereas like, I'm super loose, I'm laughing, I'm having fun, whatever. When you go against higher belts, you shouldn't be there to tap them out necessarily or be like, I'm going to fucking punish this guy. Don't bring your own ego or your resentment into it. Just be like, cool, what can I fucking learn from them? Like Drew was talking about with like challenges, right? It's the same thing. And so like, I go into it like having fun. I go into it being like, if they submit me, I'm going to ask them a question and be like, hey, what could I have done better? How could I have, improved? What do you think I need to work on? I get really excited rolling with higher belts. So part of it, bro, might just be your expectations. Are you going into it thinking that I should be able to kick this guy's ass? Because you shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to kick his ass. Anytime I caught a brown belt when I was a blue belt, he fucked up. You know what I mean? I was getting better on my way up, but he fucked up.
Imagine being a white belt and being mad that you didn't tap that blue belt. Like, how disappointing would it be for you to get a blue belt knowing that white belts are supposed to tap you?
Yeah, so it's like, what do you mean? I think you need to kind of like, there are different kinds of confidence. There's, I'm going into competition and I'm facing someone my level, my weight. that kind of confidence is like, I need to visualize me steamrolling this motherfucker. I need to visualize we slap hands and I fucking, like Spriggs was talking about, I take him down, I get to my game. You know, what happens if he gets me in a triangle? I'm visualizing getting out of that and passing, getting to my game, whatever. But then like in the gym, it's a different kind of confidence. The only confidence you need going into the gym is that I was brave enough to fucking sign up. I am worthy to be here. Every day, your only goal is to learn more. Sometimes we learn more by submitting people and like fucking being the bully, being aggressive. Sometimes we learn more the days we get our ass kicked. Sometimes we just kind of have like an indifferent day, but we picked up a little technique. Like it's so much more mental, intellectual, but I would let go of the ego and stop equating confidence with like, I need to beat the shit out of this guy.
Yes. Okay, I think I got the idea of the. Thank you for deciphering that for me.
I'm gonna go easy on this guy.
I'm gonna take your translation.
You're like a step away from being like, let me answer you. I'm speaking.
No, I'm gonna give my
Drew
answer.
already did a problematic accent earlier in the show, and I'm now trying to. You did like a fucking old Asian lady.
She was old and Asian. That's how she sounded.
Drew,
would it be less problematic if I said the old Angels? Now I'm just stuttering. The old Asian lady, and then and then started like Queen's proper English from like a stage play. Does that make sense?
I believe there's two things we can do. I'm glad we're talking about this. There's two things we can do. We can either 2020. Turns out a lot of people are racist. We either can only do a white guy accent. That's not fun. What I did for a while on my old podcast is I would do an incredibly offensive other accent, but so like if I was like this old Asian lady came up to me, I'd be like, "Hey, essay," and I would go that route.
It's just comically wrong.
Cartoonishly wrong. Or I find anybody in a stereotypical Italian accent is hysterical.
Hey, bro.
It's a me. Like that. No one can get mad at that. And if they do, they're a fucking filthy Italian. All right, continue.
Hilarious. Okay, so problematic accents aside. Trying to remember the question.
God, I hurt my injured wrist slapping my leg because that was so funny.
That's a jiu-jitsuist problem.
Oh, God damn it.
So I'm going to assume, and I'm sorry if this is incorrect, I'm going to assume your belt is a white belt because that's usually where you're most worried about upper belts because everybody is an upper belt. Okay?
Great point.
So
Great point.
If you're a white belt and you're concerned that all you have to train with are upper belts.
What if he is a brown belt grad student and you're like this idiot white belt who can't write?
Then so
it's a me, I'm a stupid.
Here's the thing that you can improve on the most when everybody else is a higher belt than you: defense. And that's the first thing that you should be learning anyways, because like Jamie very aptly said, you should not be beating the shit out of them. At the very least, you're going to be under attack at all times. So the good news is you're going to have to work on defense because it's the only thing going on.
Yep.
Now, how can you do that against an upper belt? You're probably going to get tapped out and your defense isn't going to be enough at a certain point. And that's fine because that's going to give you an opportunity to say, hey, buddy, that was a sweet armbar. Can you show me how you would defend it?
Yes. Yes. And not only that, that's a great answer. Not only that, but what is the first layer of defense? Even if it's an armbar, get my arm out. Nope. Get my elbow out. Nope. Don't get there. Nope.
Quit jiu-jitsu.
Quit jiu-jitsu and leave forever, you piece of shit. Staying calm.
Right.
So even when you don't know how to defend something, and this is what I always tell people who are going fucking apeshit, is how are you ever going to do the things Drew said? How are you ever going to learn how to get out if you're just seeing red and flailing yourself out? I remember I discovered this when I was like a blue belt and someone had my back and I went to like ham out because I was like wily. I could get out of some stuff by just kind of like being squirmy. And then I was just like, I totally relaxed. And I was like, I'm going to try going this way. And then like he started to choke me and I was like, nope. And I was like, I'm going to go this way. And then I started to get out a little further. And then like he mounts you and you go, all right, this is a new problem. Then the next time that happens, he gets your back. Okay, I know I don't go that way. So I'm going to go this way. Oh, he's mounting. I'm going to start to escape. I'm going to start to hip escape before he fully mounts, whatever. And that's how you have.
This is the jiu-jitsu version of Groundhog Day. You try to get it a little more right each time.
Just a little. Yeah. Dude, that's the fucking best. Yes. 100%. I was going to try to add on to it, but I can't. It's perfect. That's exactly what it is. But not only that, so that's one thing that you can get out of staying calm. But the other thing is when someone's, look, the reason most people get fucked up in street fights is their adrenaline's all over the place. They don't know what they're doing. They make dumb mistakes. They turn their back. They like get some dumb headlock. They just go to these like weird instincts they have. When there is a guy on top of you or a girl on top of you fucking sucking the will to live out of you, crushing you, and you can't get out, the times I can't get out, I just go, all right, stay tight and like focus on my breathing. And I'll literally just be like, and like that again, we go back to the subject of today's show. That is training your mind.
Yes.
That's training your brain to stay calm in the worst possible scenarios. And when you talk about, when you hear these black belts talk about how jiu-jitsu made me a better person, a lot of it, like, it's the same you get from meditation. It's that mindfulness. If you're just spazzing out all the time, then when you get a real life problem, you're probably going to fucking spaz out a little bit. That's who you are as a human. But when you're used to being like, let's take a fucking breath. We're going to be all right. And then you get to figure out a solution.
Yeah, that's right. There's people in the world got to go to anger management when they have anger problems. But what jiu-jitsu is kind of panic management.
Yeah.
It teaches you how to stay calm when you really shouldn't.
Yeah.
But that allows you to think clearly, right?
Yeah, 100%. So guys, we forgot how much fun answering your questions were, since we've only been talking about very serious things.
Which are not fun. Please continue. I'm like, I literally had a moment, Drew, when we were doing a back and forth in the Q&A, where I was like, we're hilarious. We are a very good comedy team. We gotta do a full questions episode again. That was fun.
Well, or just like send in your fucking questions and we'll hit like 1 or 2 at the end of every episode. Like,
and
either which
send
way.
Jamie your nudes.
Yes, send me your nudes, everybody. Please don't.
Not everybody, for sure. Not everybody.
No, literally nobody. I just want to meditate and find myself. I've asked for none of this. So hit us up. The best way to do it is to DM at Rear Naked Radio on Instagram. As always, follow Drew _jitsu. Follow me on Instagram at the Jamie Kilstein. You can pick up Drew's Reverse Kimura series right now as well. Still,
that's right. ReverseKimura.com. Super simple.
ReverseKimura.com. I will be in Minneapolis at the House of Comedy July 1st through the 6th. You can also check out my podcast, A Fuck Up's Guide to Self-Help. People are really loving it, and there's a lot of crossover now, which is fucking great. That is at afuckupsguide.com, or just look up A Fuck Up's Guide to Self-Help. It is on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. If you want to support the show, obviously you can go to Origin Maine, use promo code Rear Naked. Or you can rate and review us 5 stars on iTunes. You can post clips of it. You can post your favorite quotes. Tag Drew and I. We'll repost it. Or the most important thing you can do is tell your friends at the gym.
Yeah.
And that's it. And just spread the word. You'll have people to make these weird inside jokes with. Also, guys, like, if there's ever a bit Drew and I do, we black out and we forget all of this. So if you ever want like reoccurring material, like hit us up with like the lines or tell us what you like, then that helps us a lot too. And it makes us feel good about ourselves.
All right. Well, peace out, guys. Stay safe out there in COVID land.
Yep. Aloha. Peace, everybody.
See you next time. Bye.